Hello, I'm going to talk about an incident in London in 1858 which is called the Great Stink. I want to remind you first of what Britain was like in 1858. There was free trade, there was the sort of prosperity that had never been known in Britain, probably in the Western world. There was a powerful Royal Navy that dominated the seas and protected British trading interests all over the world. The Queen had been on she was crowned in 1837, and in 1858, 21 years later, Britain had never been in such a good position. Yeah, we've read Dickens. We know there was squalor and poverty there. But in general, there was a widening middle class. There were railways now which were improving communications up and down the country and also improving social mobility and trade, and everything was really buzzing. And then the Great Stink happened, and it was drawn to everyone's attention that things could go wrong. The Great Stink was an event in central London during July and August 1858 in which the hot weather exacerbated the smell of untreated human waste and industrial effluent that was actually present in the River Thames and also on the banks of the River Thames, just rotting away. Things became so bad Parliament had to be suspended because there was nothing they could do. They tried hanging curtains. I think it was saturated with lime to try and keep the smell away. Didn't help. And it became very bad. Now, here we have a problem. There are more people in London than have ever been before. What are you going to do? There's more industry, there's more effluent, human waste and animal waste indeed as well, going into the river. What do you do? Well, if you look at the modern way of dealing with things, what these guys should have done was told people that they couldn't use their toilets anymore, that they should not evacuate their bowels anymore because it was mucking up the planet. They would have gone around with placards saying, you know, it was a hot summer, climate change, climate change, climate change, climate change, we're all doomed, there's nothing we can do. That's what they would have done now. What they did then was they got a nice chap called Joseph Bazalgette, who was an engineer, and he designed an entirely new sewage system that could handle the sudden population explosion and also the industrial explosion that was going on in London at the time. And he made work on high, mid and low level systems for the new northern and southern outfall sewers started at the beginning of 1859. So in 1858, there was the Great Stink. A year later, they had the plans up and they were starting work. And the works lasted until 1875. And they got things going, and it says here, Bazalgette's work ensured that sewage was no longer dumped onto the shores of the Thames and brought an end to the cholera outbreaks. His actions are thought to have saved more lives than the efforts of any other Victorian official. But just by building sewers, but not only just by building sewers, but because they got their act together. They saw there was a problem. They didn't say they were doomed. They didn't blame it on climate change. They didn't tell the citizens not to breathe. They just made sewers that could cope with the job. And because of that, Londoners led fairly healthy lives thereafter. There were no great stinks anymore. All right. That's my first video about how to deal with a problem when you realise there is a problem. Next video, we'll be talking about another problem. Till next time. Why not treat yourself or a favoured relative or friend to these magnificent examples of merch? The mugs and t-shirts come in the granniopteryx design or Grambo with a firearm or the more deadly knitting needles. go to www.granniopteryx.com, and whatever platform you're watching this on, please click like, subscribe and share, share, share.